was a little bit gay. You see, you can be a little bit gay if you've never kissed a girl on the lips or touched her in certain places. My discovery occurred while I was detasseling. Now, before you get some crazy idea about what detasseling is, for those of you who don't know, detasseling is a form of pollination control for corn. You pull tassels out of some of the corn stalks, in essence making them female, to allow the male stalks to populate them. This is just one woman's opinion, but I don't think the Florida politicians would be for detasseling. Not the corn type or the gay type. My detasseling occurred in central Illinois, in small towns like Illiopolis and Moweaqua, for a company called DeKalb. Now, I love DeKalb. It was an endurance test every summer, and their logo was amazing. It was a big yellow piece of corn that had DeKalb in red block letters on it, and these green wings so that the corn appeared to be flying through the air. I was a runner, and I loved the wings because they reminded me of my track uniforms. And at the end of every season, you would get DeKalb swag. So it was almost like you got paid and you got swag. And for me, earning that DeKalb swag was like getting an Eagle badge in the Boy Scouts. I wore my badges with pride. It's 1980. It's my third year of detasseling, and at this point, I'm the most senior kid worker. I had my DeKalb hat, my DeKalb shirt. I even had my name ironed on the back in big bubble letters. I was waiting for the bus to roll up to the high school, and during the height of the season, we would work 6 days a week, and on Saturdays, we would earn time and a half. We made out like bandits. In 3 to 4 weeks, I could make more money at DeKalb than I would have made working somewhere else all summer. I loved it. I got on the bus with my big igloo cooler with enough food for a small family. I had 3 to 4 bologna sandwiches, a sleeve of Oreos, a full canister of Pringles, and 4 Pepsis. I love Pringles and Pepsis in a way that was unnatural. I'm sitting on the bus listening with my Walkman to Rex Smith. He's singing, You Take My Breath Away." We were going by little towns to pick up other kid workers. And when we stopped, the bus stopped, the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen walked on the bus. The sun was shining through the window. She had these amazing ice blue eyes and a kind smile, and she sat down in the seat next to me. I took off my Walkman, and she really did take my breath away. She told me that her name was Rhonda Olson. And I smiled at her, and she told me that she was a middle child and that her older sister was named Michelle too. I must have told her my name, but everybody back then called me by my nickname, Shelma. I didn't lead with that, not with her. We sat there and talked longer, and she asked me all kinds of questions. And it was the first time in my life that I really felt seen. We pulled up at a big field. We got off the bus, and we were assigned to our crew bosses. Our crew boss was named Bertha, and she was a big lady, and she said, "I want you to call me Big Bertha," and we said, "Okay." And then she told us that the fields were so big that we were going to ride on tractors that year in baskets. And we were so happy. I was like, praise God. And then she said, the baskets hold 2 people, and everybody's going to get a buddy. And I got Rhonda, and I said, praise Bertha. We got ourselves on that tractor, we were riding in our baskets, and let me tell you, it was a game changer. Because every morning we weren't getting wet, and as we walked through the fields, when you normally walk, we weren't getting cut by the corn stalks. And Rhonda had this most beautiful voice, and she said, I think as we go through the day, we should sing, because the time will go faster. And I thought, oh God, I can't sing. But she had a way of making me feel safe. And I thought, I'll do it anyway. So we would start out every morning, and we would sing Laverne and Shirley's song. You know, we're gonna make our dreams come true. You see why I shouldn't sing? And then at the end of the day, we would sing the Mary Tyler Moore theme song. We're gonna make it after all, da 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 da. I always loved that da 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 part. I did it with extra gusto. Well, during the day, she would also sing because she liked to sing. There was a lot of singing that went on, and it's a good thing I was in love with her because otherwise it would have been too much. She loved Anne Murray. She looked like Anne Murray, same short blonde hair, beautiful blue eyes, and that was her staple song, was You Needed Me. And I did secretly need her, not that I was going to tell her that. Now, I could only sing one song well, and that was Don McLean's American Pie. I knew all the verses, and my favorite line was when the players tried to take the field, the marching band refused to yield. And I was in the marching band, and I felt like the nerds won that day. And I told Rhonda that, and she smiled and looked at me. We lived in different worlds. Well, as the season went on, we had the most fun, and at the end of the season, we said we're gonna stay in touch for sure. And at that point, I wasn't ready to admit that I was gay, but I knew for sure that I was in love with this girl. And we said we'd try to stay connected, but neither of us had our license. So throughout the next year, we committed that we would go back to DeTassel, but we didn't see each other much. I'd see her maybe at a football game or a track meet or a movie. But whenever I did, she'd give me this big hug and this bright smile, and I felt seen. The next year we went back, and once again we were writing, thank God, and she was my buddy. And we spent the whole summer writing together and singing. She'd just been dumped by her boyfriend, so her theme song was When Will I Be Loved? I was singing REO's Speedwagon, I'm gonna keep on loving you, because I was gonna keep on loving her secretly. It got to be near the end of the season, and she said, I wanna ask you a serious question. Do you believe in God? And I looked at her, took a deep breath, and was lost in those beautiful blue eyes. And before I could speak, she said softly, I believe in God. I think God is all around us. God's in the trees, and the breeze, and the flowers, and those Pringles that you love so much. And I'm so grateful for our friendship. I'm so grateful that we've gotten to know each other. And I want you to know I'll always be here. A few days later, the season ended, and we said we would definitely see each other because I had my license and she was getting hers soon. Less than a month later, her and her sisters were riding home from cheerleading practice, and they were hit by a drunk semi-driver. He rammed in to the side of the passenger side of the car, and Rhonda was killed instantly. She died on September 9th, 1982. We couldn't believe it. Everybody was shocked. And you know, I could never bring myself to the tassel after that again. I just couldn't. But I also felt like, you know, I knew her less than 2 years, almost 2 years. And 42 years later, her impact on my life is still here. She taught me to listen and to really see people. She taught me to ask questions and be curious. She taught me that you could sing even if you didn't have a good singing voice. And even though we never discussed it, she was my first love. And that was such a gift. And you know, every fall, I think about her often, but mostly in the fall, I feel her. In the trees, in the breeze, in the flowers, and even when I eat the Pringles. Thank you.